Guys, panic, but good panic. We've just had 3 Komodo dragons hatch. This is insane. This is one of the most incredible things that's ever happened in the Australia Zoo reptile department. I am so excited. This is the first time I'm meeting these little babies, and I'm gonna take you guys with me. Let's see them. It's not a Komodo dragon, but it is a giant grasshopper.
Oi.
Look at the size of this guy. Ready? He's gonna go. Is he gonna jump? Jump. Whoa! I'm gonna catch up with Nick, who heads up our reptile department, and he and the team have been instrumental getting this over the line. Here they are. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Holy moly, they're enormous. They are huge. Whoa. So much bigger than I thought they were gonna be.
Even when you see the size of the egg, I'm still blown away.
How does that even fit in there? That's insane. Wow. He's just enormous.
To see these little things hatching, words can't even describe how excited everybody is.
It's amazing. And especially I think because, you know, we've now figured out the formula for really having successful hatchlings. That's so important because these guys, obviously, they just went on the endangered list.
Yeah.
So they need a good captive breeding program. Oh, look at this guy. I reckon they look like little velociraptors, you know? It looks like a Jurassic Park moment here.
This little guy was just up and exploring, but I think they get tired quite quickly. But I mean, these 2 hatched late yesterday and this one's fully emerged this morning. So
Just this morning?
Just this morning.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
For those of us at home that might not know why you go up to an egg and stick a light up next to it, why do you do that? Why is that so important?
Well, as you know, the incubation time is enormous. It's nearly the same as a human.
Yeah.
You know, they're sitting in the egg for 7 to 8 months, and we candle periodically just to make sure we're getting good development, the egg's filling out nicely, that there's movement from the little hatchling inside the egg. And you don't want to pester it. You've got like a really short window of 30 seconds and you just have a moment in time where you can confirm the egg's still healthy. But when you get to this point, you could get full term, like you said, and they don't have the strength to hatch.
Yep.
It's a big egg and it's a lot of development to happen. I mean, look how massive it is. Because we've got a controlled environment here, we can manage the exact temperature and the humidity, and that gives us a greater success rate. But also, we can determine which eggs are doing well and which ones are not.
Yeah.
And obviously, we're very selective about how many hatchlings we bring through. We have to make sure that we've got good genetic representation from multiple lines of genetics within the region. If you have 25 hatchlings and you've got the same genetics and the same age demographic, then sustainably for the program, it's not a good outcome. In the initial stages, when we remove the eggs from the nest that the female makes, so she digs a big chamber and then she deposits all of her eggs, sometimes a couple of meters deep.
We didn't actually know how deep she'd gone with the eggs or anything like that, so it was some very nervous, gentle scratching away at the soil, and a lot of work has gone into this season, the last 2 or 3 seasons, but this year in particular, just fine-tuning the process every year to get to this result. They've only been successfully hatched once in Australia's history, so.
When we first get the eggs into the incubator, within a couple of weeks, we get the candle on there and you can start to see the veins forming. So when there's cell division, you know that it's a fertile egg.
Gosh, that must be that must have been exciting.
That was probably the most exciting, I think, because everybody was just anticipating this moment. We've got the first clutch and it would have just been devastation if there was no fertility.
It felt like to me though, that kind of little period there went from excitement to a little bit of adrenaline, a little bit of fear as well. Because in the wild, of course, most of these little ones don't work out. Most of the time they don't hatch, they don't get to adulthood. So of course they need to have that coloration when they're so little because they're so vulnerable. Obviously you think of a Komodo dragon, this big, beautiful, reddy, gray kind of color. But at this size in the wild, everything's trying to eat them, so they've got to blend in super well. And of course they switch. They go from, you know, when they're this size, as they grow up, they live pretty much strictly in the trees.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden they get to this size where it just swaps and then they're ground dwelling. So it's pretty awesome to get to watch that all unfold. Here's something I prepared earlier, viewers. Check this out. You'll put this on B-roll.
Oh, so this is the first one.
This is it. Time lapse. Here we go. So cool, that little sink. Oh, look at that. Oh,
Wow.
oh, that's crazy.
Look, it's really trying.
Yeah.
That's its head.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
I can't believe we
Whoa.
captured that footage.
That's nuts. Look how big its head is.
They're tongue flicking straight away.
Wow. This bit's cool too. Like, that's its snout there, like, you reckon, up
Do you
against
think-
the thing? Or is it its little foot
I
or
think
something?
that's its head. I think it's pushing.
Yes, it is. And then there it
Boom.
cracks, yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
That is incredible footage.
Really cool.
Nice work. That's
Nice.
awesome footage. That's so
really
that's
awesome.
so great.
Crazy.
Yeah, well, we are really lucky. You know, we've got such great resources at our disposal, and we've got a really experienced team, and we've been leaning on the experience of colleagues internationally as well as here in Australia. I mean, this is only the second time it's ever happened in Australia, and it's the first time for us, of course. So, and we've also implemented something that's never been done in the country before, which is being able to determine the gender of each of the hatchlings before they even hatched.
Yeah. Yeah, well, talk me through that process, because that was pretty cool.
It was something that was developed in the US. They went through the process quite a few years ago now, but we had to collect a blood sample from our known gender adults. We send that off to the lab and they can develop a genetic panel to be able to refer to male or female genetic material.
Right, yeah.
And then we had to very carefully extract a small amount of blood, a tiny, just a little pinprick worth of blood out of each of the eggs. And then we send that off to the lab and then they can confirm for us whether we've got male or female DNA, which was successful because we got
That's insane.
some female and some male results. We didn't even know whether the female had successfully copulated with the male, because Komodos are one of those reptile species that can reproduce parthenogenetically. Even more interestingly, the females, when they lay a partheno clutch,
Yeah.
they're only male.
Imagine that. The female can just lay a fertile clutch of eggs, like little babies, in the ground, without a male.
Yeah.
What? Sorry, I had to break the fourth wall for that one.
So when we got male and female results back from the lab, then we knew that we had successful pairing with the male and female here at the zoo. So that was a huge tick, and but a massive leap forward in how we manage the program. So the long-term sustainability of our program is being set up for success with the development of the panel, which is really, really exciting for
good.
all of the zoos that are included in that program.
Yeah, it sets a roadmap for how you can do that. And you know, obviously for an animal that is so vulnerable, they're an island dwelling species, they're now endangered. All of this at the end of the day is about their conservation. That's 100% why we're doing it. And I think it's really, really cool now that we know we can do it, we know we can do it well, and we're not only doing it successfully, but we're also, you know, pioneering kind of a new age, really. It's pretty awesome.
You know, a real privilege to be involved in the conservation of a species that is, you know, it's the largest lizard on the planet.
Yeah.
And it's one of those huge career highlights.
Well, they're an icon, and the reptile world doesn't have many icons, you know, like I think for a lot of young kids growing up too, Komodos are what gets you interested in reptiles. You know, the big crocodiles, the inland taipans, the Komodo dragons, those are those, you know, really well-known species that create that interest and that fascination, because they're dinosaurs, you know, it really is. And you just hope that, you know, they don't end up like the megalania. You know, that's the hope, is to make sure we have the giant super reptiles around, because there's not many of them left.